What is up, guys? Welcome back to yet another Rave Green TV video. We're back answering your guys' questions, and today we will be answering the GOAT's question, the GOAT of all GOATs. Messi, step out of the way. Entering the chat is Barry. Barry wants to ask which starter needs to sit and which bench players need to start to advance in the playoffs. And guys, before we get to Barry's question, if you guys want your questions answered on the channel, join the members page, join the channel. You can ask whatever questions you want. We'll make videos on it. And Brody, I'll hand the floor to you, and I'll pull up as we film this. The most recent game was that RSL game where we won 1-0. And we didn't have that many starters, lost a lot of guys for that game. But, we'll pull this up and we can kind of talk our way through the lineup if we say so. So, Brody, I'll start with you in goal. Who's in goal for you? Game 1, playoffs.
Andrew Thomas is my goalkeeper. First game of the playoffs. Listen, Stephen Fry, I would like to tip my Seahawks beanie to Stephen Fry here. Last two games has looked a lot better. Granted, against RSL, not much to deal with, right? But the game before definitely made multiple key saves. So I will say if Fry does start, I'm not throwing my hands up in the air. I'm not pissed about it. I will say, if there comes, let's say Fry starts, right, game 1, and he has a real stinker, I think changes should be made. But if it's my team and I'm choosing the starting lineup, I'm going Andrew Thomas, and I feel really good about it.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that. All he's done, winning his Leagues Cup. It's kind of one of those situations where it's a win-win, lose-lose, but more win-win, where it's like, I'm good with either guy, but I prefer Thomas right now. We've been pretty vocal about that. Stephen Fry, we love you. We love Wrinkle Wednesdays on Instagram. We love all of your artwork. We love the save you made against Toronto. I could keep going on and on, but this is a good passing of the torch moment, I would say. And so right now I'd give it to Thomas. So
I would want to add something. Sorry, I want to add something real quick. The argument for Fry would obviously be his, like you said, the save that he made against Toronto and just his other key playoff performances. But to that, J. Russ, I would say Andrew Thomas, dog. Fucking dog.
Sorry.
Andrew Thomas. Okay, sorry.
I don't know if you can hear this. My dogs are barking. The dogs are barking. The dogs in the backyard
are strict. They know what time it is, baby. They know what fucking time it is. They know what time it is, dude. Andrew Thomas, need I remind you, calls his shot. Big moment. Saves. If he saves the penalty in Leagues Cup, we win the game. He calls his shot, saves the fucking ball. And then just the biggest aura farm moment I've seen in my entire life. So we got a fucking dog in net. We don't have to worry about will he be clutch, worry about if we're missing Steph Fry's clutch moments, because we got a fucking dog in Andrew Thomas. So I'm not worried about that one bit. On to the right back position.
Okay, we'll move on now. So obviously we love KKR here. Costa Ranzi, Everett Jets legend. Shout out the boy. But for me, I think it probably will be Roldan, and I don't have a problem. Same sort of boat. I don't think I have a problem with either of them. Roldan's kind of prone to a mistake in a big game, which scares me. But I don't know. I don't see us sticking with KKR. And I think if I made the lineup, I'd probably have Alex at right back.
Yeah, and I would like to say shout out to Alex Roldan just over the last few months. Again, really to me has stepped up his game. I haven't seen Alex put a foot wrong. Honestly, I haven't seen Alex had a mid performance. I haven't seen Alex have a mid performance in quite some time. Alex Roldan is really starting to cement himself as one of the best outside backs in the league, which before the year I was saying okay, he's kind of an average starter. He does start on a lot of MLS teams, but in this lineup, he's not set in stone, set it and forget it type guy. Obviously, KKR is good, and that's the thing with a lot of this team. If you put a guy in, you're the level's not dropping off big time. And if you put this guy in instead of this guy, I'm not truly throwing my hands up in the air, right? Because the team is so deep. But to me, this is one where I would roll out Alex Roldan. I would. Obviously, that can be adjusted if he, has giveaways again in big moments. Then you got to really start to think about a lineup change. Thankfully, round 1 is 3 games. So, hopefully it's not going to cost us in a one-off game, right? But I'm going Alex Roldan as my starting right back, and I also feel very good about it. But actually, real quick, wait, just a segue. Yeah. It gets interesting here because Yeimar is likely he could miss the first round. It's very likely that he does. I'm not sure about the Kim Ki-hee timetable. So potentially Alex and Kalani could start.
Yeah,
Potentially.
which I think we're just gonna boot that from the conversation unless you want to talk about it. I think that there's tiers, right? I think if they're fit, playoffs, we want Ymar, Reagan. If they're fit, then after that, we'd have to go Ki-hee, Reagan. But I think after that, me personally, I am more comfortable with Alex and Reagan. I do not trust John Bell in a big game. I'm sorry, John Bell, friend of the channel, cool dude, it seems like. Don't trust bro in a playoff game. I'm sorry. Hate to say it. So I think that's my opinion. If we want to move on to the left back, if you have any different opinion, I'll let you chime in. But
Yeah. I just would pose a question to you. Would you be comfortable if it's like because against, let's say, Minnesota United first round, we're gonna have the ball like in every single game. I'd imagine we'll have the ball. So for that reason, I'm like very much pro Alex Roldan center back if that's where we have to go. But if, let's say, you know, by some stretch of the imagination, we run into an LAFC round one where we're probably going to be put under pressure a ton, does that change your answer?
I still trust. The problem is I trust Roldan more than I trust John Bell. I think I mentioned earlier that Roldan's prone to a big mistake in a big game. I think John Bell is 3 times more prone. And so I think I wouldn't like either situation, but I would trust Roldan more. I also will say one scary thing about us playing Minnesota is their game plan is so reliant on set pieces and long throws. And having KKR, Alex Roldan, and probably Nuhu in the back three is
Yeah.
kind of scary when Reagan's the only true ball winner on those balls in the box. And even our midfield, like if you look at our lineup, so I think I'm just gonna say Nuhu's starting at left back for me.
Yeah.
So we'll just go with that. But if you go out the rest of the lineup, which I'm assuming if we're on the same page, Obed, Roldan, like we don't have that many huge ball winners. Playing Minnesota can get pretty scary when that is kind of their whole plan of attack is lump the ball in the box and say a prayer.
You want to get weird right here?
Let's get weird,
So
Brody.
let's get weird. All right.
Let's get weird.
So John Bell, when he's made most of his mistakes, at least from what I've watched, has been playing center back.
Yeah.
Like for example, giving the ball away or just like getting caught in behind, like a guy in behind, of course. What if you get weird and you move Nuhu next to Reagan and you put John Bell on the outside? Is that, listen?
Yeah, you're getting weird, like really weird.
I'm getting pretty weird here, but if you're worried about John Bell's mistake, I feel like if he makes a mistake at left back, I feel like he's covered a lot more than
Okay,
making the
flip
mistake at
side.
center
Flip
back.
side. So your argument is like, okay, let's avoid dumb mistakes.
I'm not saying I'd do that.
Let's
by the way.
put Nuhu in a spot where he makes a dumb mistake and it goes right in the back of the net. Just to clarify.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. Look, I'm not saying I would do that, obviously, but I just thought about it, I guess, because John Bell at left back plays a lot better this season. I don't know, man, but I will say, dude, I trust Nuhu. I do trust Nuhu in the playoffs. Okay, I know it's crazy given what he's done this season, but Nuhu has shown time and time again in the playoffs like he can be trusted. I know it looks
fair.
rough, right? And let's say if I'm the manager and I made that decision and we lose, like I'm getting fired because of it, but like I wouldn't do it, but it's a thought. It's I guarantee you, dude, that probably could run through Brian Schmetzer's mind. Maybe
I think what's running through Brian
doesn't.
Schmetzer's mind is I'm going to do everything in my human power to make sure that we have Ki-hee or Ymar or a capable human to play at right center back. I don't know what sort of religious base he's going to, but he's doing everything in his power to pray his way into having a right center back.
Well, guess what, dude? We're Brian Schmetzer right now, and we got to fucking make a decision. So are we going? We're going Alex, Reagan, and Nuhu. Is that where we're going?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't hate it. I think I would go there too.
And then we're just gonna skip over the double pivot because it's Roldan and it's Obed.
Yeah.
Skip to the next one. Not worth talking about. Okay. So now here's where we have questions to make. Rifle off your 3. We'll go for the striker after. Rifle off your 3. Go.
Yeah. So for me, it's Pedro on the left, Albert Rusnak at the 10, and Ferreira on the right. That's where I would go. I will say this front 3 is going to be like, you got to watch him very carefully. And this is going to be something where if you see something, you need to make the changes early in the playoffs. You can't sit there and wait around and hope that, let's say, Rusnak starts, right, and he's completely ineffective. This is not a game where you could just sit around and wait until maybe he does something, right. Like, that's where, hey, Ferreira's playing good, Rusnak's not effective at all. Cool, Ferreira inside, Georgie on.
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
you're gonna really have to play that very, very quickly. I think the only like dude for me that stays on the field unless they're like having an actual horrific stinker is Pedro, in my opinion. But that's where I'm going. I'm going Pedro, Rusnak, Ferreira, and I also feel good about that.
I'm going to agree with you, and I'll say this. This new playoff format, I think, benefits us more than a lot of teams in this league, where we could play the same team twice back to back, and we could have a completely different outlook in terms of who that three is, and it completely changes the other team's game plan. Like,
Yeah.
if we were to have, like, look at this lineup on the screen right now as we're going through it: De La Vega, Ferreira, and Rothrock. Bang, you could flip it to the next game, and we could have Georgie, Rusnak, and whoever we want, and it's a completely different thought process for the other team. So I'm gonna agree with who you guys have or who you have at those three, but I think the leash has to be so short, and I expect to see at least two of the three be changed throughout the game one, and same in game two.
Yep.
Okay.
Agreed.
Here's the question that I'm going to ask you, and I think if you were to ask every member on this Rave Green page, you would get three different reasonings and at least two different answers. I'll speak for Cheyenne. Cheyenne will say Danny Musovsky should start. Okay,
Yeah,
we'll go Brody.
he would.
Who's this? Who's it, striker?
You know, if you guys tuned into the live stream post match RSL, you know this will come out well after that. I had said in there, that I would start Danny Musovsky, but my mind has changed. I'm starting Osase de Rosario, man. I really am. And I know you're like,
Okay.
whoa, what?
Okay. Whoa.
Okay, we got Musovsky. But Musovsky's the team's leading scorer, but Jordan Morris is your DP. I don't care, dude. I don't care. Listen, the striker play over the last few weeks from both Morris and Musovsky has been horrendous. And I know it's easy to focus on Morris because he's gotten the bulk of the minutes, but my goodness, dude, if you watch Musovsky the last game he fucking played in, worst striker performance I've ever seen in my entire life. Osase de Rosario showed that he can bag a goal in a final in front of 70K people. Huge pressure moments in games where the intensity is risen. Elimination games, Osase de Rosario proved more than any striker on this roster that he delivers in those games. And that's who I want. That's who I want as my number 9. I'm calling my shot. Osase de Rosario starts game 1 for me. Pure cinema.
I mean, just off that energy, it's hard to fight it. But my striker, Cheyenne's going to hate me. He's going to call me a homer. He's going to make fun of my Funko Pop. He's going to do everything. Make fun of my picture. I'm starting this guy. Look at that. This is the Jordan Morris that's coming out in the game.
Well, yes, we are starting this one here. I will start this Jordan Morris 100%. Not the. I mean, I see the guy to the right there. That's not who I'm starting personally. But if we're getting that Jordan Morris, that's who I'm starting. 100%.
But no, I'm starting Morris from the kickoff, and like I said with the midfield three or the wingers and the 10, his leash is so short. I'm having Osase, and I'm having Danny. They're warming up from kickoff. You're warming up the whole time. Get some jogs in. Morris's leash is so short. I bet it's changed at halftime if it's going poorly. I just think in terms of who I trust in the moment, who was there in LAFC last year, right? Like, who's the guy who's been there time and time again in those big games for the Sounders? Morris is that guy, right? And so I think we kind of just got to hope that when the game goes that way, Morris just lives up to the moment and the Seattle boy comes through for Seattle, which Schmetzer would hope for, like he does every game. So for me, Morris starts, and I think I agree with you. I think that Morris starts and Darrow is very top of mind in terms of who goes into the game.
I think if we're all just like, not being reactionary, which I understand. I just said I'd start Osase de Rosario after what I've seen, so I'm not one to say to not be reactionary here. But Jordan Morris, right? Obviously had the playoff goal last year. He's scored. I mean, he's got a decent record against Minnesota, right? Just in general. I'm assuming that's who we're going to play. in the first round. I wouldn't like. I think each striker choice has reasons that are valid. Obviously Jordan Morris, like you said, um, when they're all at their best, Jordan Morris is the best player of the three.
Yeah.
He's done it before in the playoffs, of course. And yeah, I think that's valid. I think having Musovski, he's the team's leading goal scorer. He has been the most clinical, just in general, with their chances out of the three. And then I think I got a valid reason too, man. You want big time goals and big time moments in the playoffs or in elimination games and in a cup final. Osase delivered. So I think all three options have valid reasons as to why you would pick them.
For me, it was just I was sitting at the last Sounders game and they subbed in Danny Musovski. And I've never been so frustrated watching a striker play in my life, as you mentioned. The guy in front of me, I just remembered for 30 minutes straight kept yelling, Danny Muskrat. All you are is a muskrat like your father. And I don't know if I agree with the nickname, but when Moose had that opportunity to square that ball to Rothrock, I know you know the chance I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And he didn't. I watched this man walk to the first row, walk down the aisle, walk past everyone, and stand on the side of the field and point and yell at Musovski for 10 minutes straight, telling him every flaw he has.
Was it one of the three dudes that no ball?
Yes.
Oh, fucking let's go, dude. Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
You know what's and again, dude, like had Musovski played that ball to Rothrock and got the assist, I still would have said absolute shitter of a performance just because that assist was so fucking free. Anybody,
yeah.
an 8-year-old child could have been there and hit that ball across and would have had a free assist in the fucking MLS. And he didn't do it. So it just makes that performance that much fucking worse. It was so bad, and I'm frustrated again just talking about it, man. Seriously.
Yeah. And so I think, to be honest, if we're going to talk about what Brian's going to do, he's going to play Morris. Let's be honest. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Maybe not a fact. I'll knock on wood, but I think that's what Schmetzer's going to do. But yeah. I think there is definitely arguments for pros and cons for all three strikers. But yeah. Barry, I hope we didn't get on too much of a tangent talking about sit and start, but I felt like that was kind of the best way to go through it position by position. But guys, if you have any opinions on who should start, who should sit, which evolution you'd put in the game for the Sounders, drop a comment on this video. There'll be tons more coming out. If you guys want any of your questions answered, join the page. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe. Like I said, drop a comment, join the page. Boys, hopefully there's tons more videos coming out because that will mean that the Sounders season continues to go on and we make a run deep into the playoffs. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you boys next time.